Welcome back to the segment number 2 of Super Bowl 101. I'm Scott Trella. And here is the trivia question for that second segment. Which two starting quarterbacks are the only ones to win a Super Bowl with two different teams? And I will have the answer later in the podcast. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl VI, and when the Dallas Cowboys beat the Miami Dolphins 24-3 at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. The National Football League doesn't list a record for the longest helmet throw. One game, but if he did, the name would be Bob Lilly, who played defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys and played it with distinction for a long time. Lilly threw his helmet from Miami to New Orleans, or if history is more your thing, from Super Bowl V to Super Bowl VI. There are some poetic license in this, but not much. In the final seconds of Super Bowl V in Miami, a number of veteran Cowboys interviewing Lilly felt the darkness would never lift. The loss to Baltimore in Super Bowl V marked the 5th year in a row the Cowboys had charged into the playoffs. Only to be blown out of their saddles. The loss was rock bottom. So as Jim O'Brien's winning field goal cleared the crossbar, Cowboys defender, Lilly, pulled off his helmet in agony and turned it and hurled it more than 50 yards downfield. Now Lilly was asked about his epicomitas, and he said, "I don't remember it. I know I did it, and Lord, enough people have told me about it to where I know I did. I did, but one thing I do know is we were heading off the field after the game, and just feeling awful, and some young Colts player, he had to be a rookie, came up to me and holding out my helmet, he said, 'I think this is yours, Mr. Lilly.' So in addition to feeling awful, I felt like an idiot. So feeling awful, it developed, was not wasted on the 1971 Cowboys. Feeling the 5 years of playoff miseries against Green Bay and Cleveland and Baltimore was what led the Dallas Cowboys into Super Bowl VI, where the bad news finally turned good. Now, they said, well, we didn't sort it out right away, Lilly says, but that feeling of frustration was what kept us going the next year. And the Cowboys really, because Roger Staubach was quarterback back then, as you know, and Tom Landry was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys from 1960 to 1988, and he really looks back at this vantage point, from the vantage point of the day, and he says you have to understand the way it was for the team. He says they were seasoned, tough football players. I mean, really tough. These fellas had been down. They'd been kicked around, they'd been criticized, and they've been made fun of. They had lived with a lot of adversity for a long time, and that made them very tough-minded people. Well, that made them very tough-minded people, Once we were in New Orleans to play the Dolphins, they were very confident when they talked among themselves. They said there was no way they were going to lose that game, and Super Bowl VI was played on artificial turf in raw 39-degree weather in Tulane Stadium on Sunday, January 16th, 1972, which was, of course, 50 years ago. And It matched Dallas and its less than ground playoff against the upstart Miami Dolphins, 1966 American Football League expansion team that had survived near a slapstick infancy to reach pro football's biggest game in just 2 seasons. Under head coach Don Shula. And now, this game was in the weeks before Super Bowl VI. Miami had outlasted Kansas City 27-24 on Christmas Day in a record 22 minutes of overtime. Pro football's longest game, and had shut out football's longest game, and had shut out, defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore 21-0. Dallas had beaten Minnesota and San Francisco, allowing just 1 touchdown. And it was Miami's fine young offense against Dallas' salty old defense, and Miami's small no-name defense against Dallas' underrated offense. And this was a game where things did not go Miami's way, and Dallas had won this one 24-3, as I mentioned, and this was one of those, it just was, and there was 6:15 left to go in the first half. Dallas went 76 yards in 10 plays. A Staubach to Alworth collaboration over the middle was good for 21 of them, and Hill came off the bench and had 25 yards on 3 carries. And one thing we did was to confuse them. Was to be less confusing, Ditka says. I mean, our reputation was a lot before the snap to confuse the defense. We cut out a lot of shifting and went right now from the straight sets. The Dolphins weren't expecting it. And Dallas led 10-0 after the extra point. And the Cowboys went Dolphins went to the Cowboys 24, but they weren't able to get in. And actually, they kicked a field goal, and it was 10-3 at halftime. So, and then the second half, Dallas just took it over and led it the rest of the way. And Dallas went on to win this one by the final of 24-3, and there is no record of anybody on the Miami team throwing a helmet in frustration after Super Bowl VI. But if it happened, then Bob Lilly would have understood it. And the Dolphins learned one thing. We learned one thing. The Dolphins, Twilly says, when it's over, it's over. All week, we had media people up to our ears, but once that game was over, the media just wanted to talk to one team, and it wasn't us. So it was hard to figure. We weren't confident. We really thought we'd win, and we and went handily. Sometimes something happened, though, during the week. I guess it was that week. The week has its own momentum like nothing we'd been in before. Now, Miami lost it in the Super Bowl in 1972, Super Bowl VI, but a year later in Super Bowl VII, as you know, Miami went on and made NFL history and had an undefeated season, including winning the Super Bowl, which made that undefeated season. And next year, in 2023, will mark the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl VII. And I will commemorate that one next year. And there's been a lot of Super Bowls played in LA. There was Super Bowl 25 with the Giants versus the Bills. And Bill Parcells remembers that one well. And Scott Norwood, unfortunately, had a field goal that went wide right, and that's what lost it. And the Giants went on, as you know, to win that one by the final score of 20-19. And there was a Super Bowl 6. Super Bowl 7 was played there. Super Bowl 15, Super Bowl 16, and I think Super Bowl 27 as well. That's when Dallas played Buffalo. And Buffalo has been 0-4 in the big one. And right now, we're going to reveal the answer. It's time now to reveal the answer to today, the segment 2 trivia question of Super Bowl 101. Excuse me. Which starting QBs are the only ones to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams? And if you said Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, you are correct. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos and also the Indianapolis Colts. And Tom Brady, as you know, won 6 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots and 1 Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now I have another trivia question in my next segment, so stay tuned for that. You stay tuned for. And now getting back to today's game, and there's been a lot of preparation and getting ready for this game, and a lot of people are saying, what are the best foods to eat during the Super Bowl? Well, it's could be chips and salsa, or nachos and salsa, or even pizza. Or dip for chips and dip, and or even a salad tray even. And there's a lot of great foods you can eat during the Super Bowl. And so that's why I feel this is going to be a fun game to watch, and I think everybody's going to be really having stuff to eat while watching the Super Bowl tonight. And I really think this is going to be one of those games where it could come down to a last-second field goal or a game-winning touchdown. And as I mentioned before, I do feel we could see our first overtime in the Super Bowl. So we will see what happens, and I have not given my pick yet, but I will in my final segment before kickoff. So you will get my pick. Don't worry. So we will see, and I really do feel this is going to be a great game, and at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and I feel Joe Burrow is really ready for this game, and he's very excited. And so is Jamar Chase, and even Joe Mixon is even excited about this game. And I really feel this will be one of those games that will be close. It's going to be a close one. And I'm going to take a break right now. I'll be back with segment number 3 right after this. Stay with me. There's a lot more to come on Super Bowl 101.